How do you design your Amazon brand store to get the most sales? I'm David Goldenberg. I led the marketing for Seller, who grew from 30 million a year to 57 million a year in Amazon sales. And a lot of that was achieved through our sponsored brands and our Amazon brand store. So what I want to discuss with you today is a couple of different aspects of this question. I want to discuss what some people call store architecture. How do you organize the different pages? What pages should you make and what do you put on the pages? Second, we want to talk about how to make your design look professional. And this addresses the visual aspects. How do you make it look consistent? How do you not just have random products and other related questions to the graphic and user interface design? The third thing we're going to talk about is how to make your store user-friendly so that you can guide visitors from their entrance point into your store all the way to finding their product and checking out. And the fourth thing that we want to talk about is how to design your store in such a way that it works well with your sponsored brand campaigns and any other way that you're driving traffic so that you get the maximum conversion, the most sales for your efforts. So for example, in terms of optimizing your store for ads, we'll talk about, should you bring traffic to your homepage, to category pages, to subcategory, or even deeper pages? And what does that mean for your design? How do you need to design the homepage? How do you need to design the particular category or landing pages in your store so that they work smoothly and give that best selling experience to your customers? First of all, let's talk about the store architecture or organization. In what way are you going to group your pages together so that you make it really easy to understand for your customers? And there's a few ways you can think about this, and really they reflect different people's mental models of your products. So you don't want to just go with one of these. Ideally, you want to spend the time and do multiple of these category structures. So the first one is simply organizing by specs. For example, if you sell mattresses, you might organize by the size of the mattress, right? So you might have a page that says shop by mattress size, and then you might have king size, queen, and all the way down to cots and what have you. The second model that is very common is by use case. So for instance, taking that same approach, you might say, who are you shopping for mattress for? Are you shopping for mattress for couples, for single adults, or for children, right? And you might have your mattress sizes and options suited to those different audiences or the purposes. Similarly, you could say, is this for a master bedroom? Is this for a guest bedroom? Is this for your main home? Is this for a vacation home? And so forth. When you go through your keyword research, you'll probably find additional ways that people think about your own products. For example, they might mention special features. If you're selling, for example, filtering systems for outdoor pools, so you might have something that takes chlorine pods, or you might have just something that takes powder. You might have something that cleans itself, something that needs manual cleaning, that has certain capacity, and so forth. So you can figure out what people are searching for and also imply onwards, right? Even if you don't see a particular keyword, that doesn't mean nobody's searching for it. It just means that tool maybe didn't think it was important enough to include in its database. Now, there is one kind of organization that I would discourage you from using. And if you have to use it because it'll make your boss happy, or it'll make somebody in the organization happy, then just relegate it so it's not so important in the navigation, meaning when you set up your navigation bar for your store, put it as one of the last options so that few people see it and it won't really get in the way. And what is this pretty poor choice for organizing your catalog? That is by collection, right? So in fashion, people call this, our summer collection, our fall collection. Most of the time, people don't really care about you decided to put these skirts together or these shirts together or these outfits, right? when somebody is searching for a product, they're shopping, let's say, for a flary light skirt, a flary cotton skirt, a flary black skirt, right? A little black dress, whatever. They don't care that you put your little black dress in the winter collection and the fall collection and so forth. So the way that you organize your catalog, right? It's similar to if you offer them to browse by the names of your SKUs. Your customers have no idea what you called your products SKUs in your catalog. They don't particularly care. And the same generally applies for collections. If you have collections that somehow match against what they're looking for, that's a different story. But again, you may as well just go with the categories and collections that they're already thinking about. So the question is now, what do you have in the graphic header at the top? And also, how many products do you have in each page? And is there anything beside for the graphic header and the products that you should have on the page? So the role of the header is basically to confirm for people that they've come to the right page. And we can talk about this a little bit later with the ads, but generally speaking, you want to show the main kinds of products or the top 3 products you have on the page, your logo, and a few of the keywords or benefits that they'll get from these particular products. So for example, a great night's sleep, right? If you're selling mattresses. Now, beyond that, you need to have, I would say, between 6 and 12 products on the page. The minimum is just 1, essentially. And you have stores that are successful with just that, especially smaller brands, you know, up to 5 million a year, you know, you've got maybe a couple dozen products in your catalog, that's fine. Once you grow and you're more of a 8-figure or even enterprise brand, you have a lot more products in your catalog, don't overwhelm people. Because what people tend to do when there's too many choices, they're just like, I'm afraid to make a mistake, forget it, I'll come back to it later. But they don't come back to it later, and you lose a sale. So limit it to 6 to 12 products. That is something that people can handle mentally. If you have less than that, 3, 4, that's fine as well. I would try to avoid just 1 on the page if you can. You know, you can even put an accessory or something that you might be able to upsell or cross-sell as well, related products, similar things in the line that are a bit more expensive, a little cheaper, missing a feature, adding a feature. So that's one way you can think about the products on the page. And the other thing you need is, particularly for the homepage and for the category pages, people aren't coming to the homepage to find a product immediately. They're there to be driven further into your store. The same way you walk into a large, you know, home furnishings thing like an Ace Hardware, a big box shop, the person at the door greeting you is not there to say, hey, do you want to buy these pens? They're on sale for $1 per box this week. They're there to greet you and say, what are you looking for? And to tell you, oh, that's in aisle 3, that's in aisle 4. Go over there, you'll see it on the top, on the right, on the left. And your homepage is basically playing the role of that greeter. You're saying, hey, yeah, oil paint, aisle 3, all the way at the back on the left. So you need to show some of your main categories, limited to 3 to 6. Again, you don't want to overwhelm people. This applies not just for choosing products, also for choosing categories. And then within those categories, if you have subcategories, the same thing. You just repeat until you get down to a manageable number of products on the page. So your categories can link to 3 to 6 subcategories. If you have more than that, you can link again to a few subcategories on those pages. A couple of further questions related to this topic of structure and organization. So what should go above the fold besides for the graphic, which obviously has to go above the fold? So on your home page and category pages, you want to have those tiles, those image or image with text tiles. That's what they're called within the Amazon brand store builder. And it's really simple. You just choose that from the options on the right-hand side of the page. You go image with text, you click upload your image, and then you just write the text that is going to link to that particular thing. Use descriptive text. Don't be clever in your headlines. Don't, make funny allusions or inside jokes. Just, very clear and to the point. And after you've covered that stuff above the fold, then below the fold, that's where you have your product grid, if you have at least 4 products that fit on that page, because the product grid tile requires 4 products. And if not, you can just have individual product tiles over there to fill out the page. Now, one more organization type that is useful, and one that you should probably avoid, even though Amazon automatically opts you into it. The one that you should probably do is bestsellers, because even if you're selling durable goods, people come back to buy the same mattress for their kids, for their spouses, for their in-laws, whoever, okay? And so for the repeat customers, you want to have that bestsellers page so they can easily come back to buy something that they probably bought from you already before. That's number one. Number two, Amazon is opting loads of stores into deals pages. Not every brand has a lot of deals or even any deals. And so if you're one of those brands, you should definitely opt out of it. There's an option to do that in the top left settings of your store within the Amazon Brand Store Builder. You go there and you'll see those options in the navigation on the upper left. And even if you have a lot of deals, Amazon forces that page to show up right at the very start of your navigation. And maybe that's good for some price-oriented customers, but for a lot of your shoppers, they want to find products that are going to meet their needs, that are going to meet their tastes and whatever, and they're not necessarily looking to get a deal right this second, right? If it's Prime Day, whatever, that's a separate point. But for most of the year, they're not in, I want to save as much money as I can mode, they're in solve my problem mode. And so you want to opt out. You can make your own separate deals page. You don't need Amazon to automatically build it for you. And you can just, have that built with whatever is currently on sale. Keep in mind, if you make a page, and especially also if Amazon is doing this for you, then you need to be updating the page with whatever is on sale. Because if you make a deals page and the product is just at regular price, well, that doesn't make a very high converting experience for your traffic. If you're finding this useful, I encourage you to watch our next video where we're going to continue, as I said at the start, and we're going to talk about the visual design next. So we're going to talk about things like image sizes, how to brand the store, how to keep the branding consistent and make it look good. And also, because Amazon doesn't allow you to edit the code unless you're a enormous advertiser spending maybe tens of millions, like for example, Lego, for most brands even doing 8 figures a year, you can't access the CSS. And so how do you ensure that you have your branding elements in the store? Your logo, your colors, your fonts, all of those important things, your models, and so forth. And how do you avoid the store just looking like a random collection of pages, having random products, inconsistent products, all of that in the next video.